What's up, everybody? Welcome to today's episode of Grant Teach Me Something, brought to you by CreativeCashFlow.com, where investors who want more get it. If anybody has followed me for any period of time, you know that my least favorite answer to a seller asking the question of why do you do this is, well, I just love helping people. It drives me crazy because, hey, at the core, that's not why you're doing this. You're not investing in real estate because you love helping people. That's a lie. You're investing in real estate because you like the zeros that come on the end of the check. But the thing that I need to be very clear about is that even though I say that all the time, and I believe in that wholeheartedly, we still need to find and take advantage of the opportunities that we do have to give back to that community and to help people, because we are in a position to do that. So today is going to be a very special episode. I'm bringing in a very special person. His name is Michael Garrett. He's the CEO of Trusted World, which is a charity that I support wholeheartedly. We want to introduce you to this real quick and kind of talk about what we can do in our industry as investors and as people who live the lives that we live to give back to that community and to make our story in line with others. So we'll take a break real quick, and when we come back, let's get right into it.
Teach me something.
Welcome. Thank you, everybody, for being here right now. We got several people watching at the moment. I'm looking forward to chatting with you. Sitting next to me, I have the wonderful and respected and whatever other lies I can tell about you, Michael Garrett, who is the CEO of Trusted World. Michael, say hello. How are you?
Hello, everybody. How are you doing today? Wonderful pleasure to be here with Grant.
It is.
The amazing, talented Grant Kemp.
We pay each other, right? Like I pay him for compliments, he pays them back. So here's the thing. Like I said in the intro, all the time we're talking about negotiations, and I smack people across the face because like a seller will constantly be like, well, why are you doing this? And people think the seller wants to hear, well, I just love helping people. And that's just not the truth. It's not the truth. That's not why people are getting into real estate investing. But what I found is that a lot of people don't understand that even though I'm saying that's not the truth for that moment of why you're doing that, that doesn't mean that we don't need to give back to the community, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
And so what I wanted to do is kind of highlight some possible ways that we can give back to that community, and to highlight somebody who's out there walking the walk and living the life of servitude. Is that the right word?
I guess it would be, yeah.
Being
but
a
in
servant.
all honesty, I mean, you're living the walk, man. You're the one that's going after the whole cash thing, but at the same time, you're turning around and giving to organizations like us.
Trying to.
So, yeah. I'm more on the helping side. You're more on the, I got two parts of my body trying to make stuff happen side.
Yeah, and it can be crazy, but we do have the ability to help. One of the things that, if you're sitting here at 11 a.m. on a Wednesday watching a live stream on Facebook, you are in a affluent position in life, whether you like to admit that or not. There's a lot of people, in America, we get very spoiled by what we have. We get very spoiled by looking at what everybody else has. And
True.
we forget to appreciate that we really are in a position, even whenever, we may feel like we're not in that position because we like to compare a level up. We forget to compare a level down.
Well, we also forget how many level downs there are.
Absolutely true.
So we look at the couple levels up and go, wow, that's where I want to be. But then you turn around and go, wow, I didn't realize how far up I was.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And you have a great experience in seeing that and being able to illustrate just how far up we are, even when we don't feel it, right?
Right.
So tell us a little bit about Trusted World. Tell us a little bit about what Trusted World does.
Well, what Trusted World does is we consider ourselves to be like the Amazon for nonprofits. Our whole model is we help people help people. What we do is we collect donations from all over North Texas, which would be clothing, toiletries, food. And with the clothing, we separate it by style, size, and gender. And what we do is we make that available to other nonprofits through our web interface. Basically, our largest client is a school counselor. They see the same child wearing the same clothes every day, and then what they'll do is they'll go, oh, Tommy, let me talk to your mom, let me find out what's going on. And then the counselor finds out that whole family needs clothing. And they'll go on our website and they'll order the clothing from us. And it's like, hey, Tommy wears a medium shirt, medium pants, size 13 shoes, he needs underwear, socks, all that down. And then like Amazon, we pick that order from all the resources that we have, and we turn around and we give it to the counselor at no cost whatsoever. And the beautiful part about this is the school counselor never had access to those resources before. Mm-hmm. What they used to do was go down to the teacher's lounge and go, hey, I got a family, everybody give me money.
Right.
Same thing with police officers, same thing. They see a family, we help them, And then they used to do the same thing. They go down to squad room. Hey man, I need money. I got to buy something for a family. We've removed that process from them in that area.
Which I think is so cool. And I think it's worth mentioning that this is a niche that hasn't been hit really. There's nobody else that's serving this, because what we found at Trusted World is that, in going out and looking at all these wonderful organizations that are built to help people out. You've got the Austin Street shelters, you've got the bridges, you've got the food banks, and all of these guys that are built to help people. But what happens is those people don't have anyone helping them.
Exactly.
Right? And so you saw an opportunity, very visionary in that way. So you guys, we've talked in the past of like visionary versus integrator. Michael is one of those rare visionary integrators. He's one of those very rare people that can be both visionary and integrator, making sure that things are, going in the right direction while still having a great impact in the visionary field. And if you want to learn more, just as a side note, trustedworld.org. Trustedworld.org is a great way to go and learn more about that. But by having him step in and see, hey man, all these people are really good at helping people, but somebody needs to assist them. Well, just like we were talking about looking one more level down to see who needs help underneath us, Michael is a Six Sigma guy. Michael is a warehousing and distribution guy who saw, look, these guys went to school for what? I mean, what?
Yeah, most of them went to school for counseling, and that's what it is. When you start a nonprofit, you're like, I want to help this person. I go to school for counseling, and then they get into it and they realize there's so many more roles that they have to play, and one of them is donation management. And donation management takes up space. Mm-hmm. It can take up a whole room. It takes people. You got to sort through the clothing. But a small nonprofit that says maybe they're just like in one area of Garland, when they try to collect clothes, they're only going to get clothes from that Garland area. Mm-hmm. And if they're focusing on children and all they're getting is men's clothing, it's not productive for them. Because we have a wide variety of places that we get clothing from and a wide variety of who we serve, we know what to do with the prom dresses and the winter coats and the clothing that they don't know what else to do with. By using our services, they now free up that room, they free up those people, we get all that clothing and they just order what they need when they need it, right. And we give it to them usually within 24 hours. We've increased the efficiency of a lot of nonprofits by 20%.
Right.
And if you're donating to them, that means your dollar now has 20% more impact with that nonprofit because they're focusing more on their core competency and not other stuff that they shouldn't be involved in.
Absolutely, and I think that's a really great point to hit on because, I support Trusted World. I sit on the board. I've taken a small sabbatical here because I'm focusing so much on you guys in the education right now. I've had to step back for about 6 months. I'll be starting back up on the board in January. But I want to be very clear. Yes, we're talking about Trusted World today, but we also want to understand you may already have a charity that you're supporting. You already might be working with another charity, and we just want to point out that, heck, what's happening through Trusted World, we are helping that charity get even further. So even if you are helping somebody else out that we're supporting, they are able to do more because of what Trusted World is offering. And Trusted World is one of a kind. It's a very interesting model because very rarely do people get into the humanitarian aspect of things when they're a warehousing person or a Six Sigma person. That's a very rare aspect to get into. And what we saw as a result from that, and I see Elizabeth Nevarrete, I'm sorry, I always butcher your last name. We'll say Nevarrete like Ryan. But I see Elizabeth there. I see a couple other people from Houston. One of the things that Trusted World was very blessed to be able to work with was when Hurricane Harvey hit, this efficiency, this Six Sigma mentality, this warehousing ability was taken note of by the city of Dallas, by those that are in the governing control here. And tell us a little bit about what Trusted World was able to do in that situation.
Yeah, during Hurricane Harvey, we were appointed by the city of the mayor of Dallas as the receiving organization. So we thought we were just going to be collecting resources from North Texas. Mm-hmm. Well, next thing you know, we got trucks rolling in from New Jersey, from Washington. I mean, we pretty much had people from every state in the union except for Hawaii, Alaska, and North Dakota.
Wow.
They were sending a truck or something. So we took in all those resources.
Way to call out North Dakota here. Who's watching from North Dakota? Step up your...
I think there's probably three people that actually live in North Dakota. The rest are all moose. But what we did is the same thing that we do now. We help people, but on a larger scale. Instead of a bag of stuff, it was a pallet of stuff. But there was people down in disaster situations who literally told us, listen, I got room for 2 pallets, I got 3 volunteers, I need only food and clothing. We would make those pallets specifically for them out of all the resources that we had, and then we send it down there specifically to them. This way they didn't have to waste their time dealing with the public. What do I do with the winter coats? Where do I put the prom dresses? What do I do with the broken strollers? We were the buffer between the public and the disaster area, and they only got what they needed. It was the most efficient thing we ever saw. We had news crews come into our operation and drop-jawed at what we were doing. Every news crew sat there, the reporters wrote us a check or gave us their credit card. That spoke to me volumes, because a lot of news guys are going to tell you what you want to hear because they want that special inside scoop. Now, these guys were turning around, when they were done, they were handing us money like I've never seen anything so amazing as what's going on here, because this was their 4th or 5th hurricane and they'd never seen this before.
And let's talk a little bit about helping people help people. You know, that's the motto of Trusted World. We're going to help people. But what I really want to drive home for you guys is not to sit here and watch this and be like, oh, look at what they're doing. This whole time should be, look at what we have the ability to do together, right? How many volunteers did we have? Do you know how many volunteers or volunteer hours? Didn't prep you for any of these questions, but how many volunteers or volunteer hours we had to help through Hurricane Harvey?
With Hurricane Harvey, we had over 20,000 volunteers come through the facility. We borrowed a 350,000 square foot building, which is about the size of 6 football fields.
For another point of reference, the average Walmart is 105,000 square feet, and we filled, it was 360, right? 360,000 square feet.
It was
to
3
the brim
Walmarts
of donations that people from all over North Texas, people from all over the country put together to pour into the Hurricane Harvey relief. It was the coolest thing.
Yeah, we had over 13 million items that we went through and processed and touched.
And this is from people like you who were able to see a need and fill it, right? Understanding that average Joe Schmo has the ability to change somebody's life. One of my favorite quotes is actually an Aerosmith quote that they may be quoting somebody else, but at the end of one of their songs, it's a quote that I like to live by. It says, always remember that the light at the end of the tunnel may be you.
Yep,
right?
That's true.
And if you remember last week, that's what I left us with, is go find a way to be the light at the end of somebody else's tunnel. And this might be that for you. Sally Riddle, I love Sally Riddle. She works with and promotes One for Israel. The One for Israel ministry. I know that they go down to Israel, I think once or twice a year, to assist with that, which is just amazing, right? Continue to support those. Continue to get involved with what you can give back, because as we've seen here, we had 20,000 volunteers. We had 13 million pieces of, and this blew us away because the community, as we talk about with Propelio and what we're doing.
I could not believe the people. There was people who they took off from work for the day to help us. We had people take a week of vacation just to be with us, and it wasn't fun. It was dirty, it was hot, it was, I'm not gonna say nasty, but it was dusty. You know, a lot of the stuff we're getting, and they were helping sort through the trash, the broken stuff. I was blown away. There was a guy who came through in Fiji. He was on vacation in Dallas, and he stopped in for a couple of days just to spend time with us. He was on vacation.
Yeah.
It blew me away.
What about the guy? There was a guy that was rolling through Texas on his way from. He was Air Force, right? And he was in Florida, and he was headed to New Mexico, I think.
And he stopped in and he volunteered for a couple hours.
He ran our forklift for a little bit because he had the training to run forklift and move pallets, that kind of thing.
Grant, I was blown away of the generosity, not just in financial or in-kind gifts, but their people's time.
Right.
You know, and you always say if you want to see someone's true heart, it shows up in where do they put their time. 20,000 people coming through. My goodness, it was probably over 50,000 hours.
Yeah.
In 3 months. It wasn't like we were there for a whole year. We were only there for 3 months. It was amazing.
And Sohail has another charity that he supports, which is Aga Khan Development Network, akdn.org. So that's another place that you might be able to check out. What's a place for Beat Kids Cancer? The guys over there with, and I'm sorry, I always mix it. Is it platinum or titanium?
Titanium.
Titanium, I'm so sorry. Titanium Investments that does Beat Kids Cancer. That's another great charity. So again, this is very important for you guys to understand that everyone watching has the ability to help somehow, right?
Yeah.
You know, whether you are working with Beat Kids Cancer, whether you are working with some volunteer hours. We just talked about volunteer hours. You don't have to have money to volunteer.
Nope.
Right? A lot of guys watching, a lot of girls watching today, you guys are watching because you've made a decision to dive in. You've made a decision to take this seriously and to work on real estate. Most of the time, when I hear your story, it's because you've got family you want to support. You want to be able to provide for those that you love. You want to be able to provide and have that security, right? And a lot of times that's meant that you're diving out and you are paying heavy attention to where you're spending your resources to get that done. It's really important for us to remember that it's not all just us. It's not all just our family.
One of those resources is time. Mm-hmm. How do you spend your time?
Absolutely.
You know, maybe you volunteer for 2 hours a month or 2 hours a week at some organization or with us. You're giving back to the community. Mm-hmm. You know, if we had a lot more people just give at 2 hours a month, that'd be great. We get a lot more done.
And that's one
as
way.
A society.
That's one way that you guys might be able to pitch in, right? Tell me a little bit about. So, you know, we talk about hustle, right? Hustle, grind. We're always talking about how hard that is in this. You know, like we're talking about providing for our family, giving that security to who we want to give that security to. You know, Michael is no. What's the word? No stranger to hard work. It's very, very rare to find somebody that works as hard as Michael does. Michael, how many hours have you put in this last week, realistically?
Last week, it was probably 75 to 80 hours.
75 to 80 hours.
I normally do 60 to 75, depending on the week.
And how long have you been doing that?
Well, this is my fourth year.
Fourth year, right?
Yeah. The problem is the need's there. And everyone says, it's great to be CEO of the organization. Yeah, well, it's really nice after I clean the bathrooms and empty the trash. I mean, the problem with being chief cook and bottle washer, and unfortunately with nonprofits, everybody wants the nonprofit to do good things. They want the nonprofit to excel, but they don't want the nonprofit to have any funding to do any of that. Mm-hmm. You know, a lot of people expect everyone to work for the nonprofit for free. Mm-hmm. The problem is when you donate money, you don't want some volunteer to manage that money. You want someone that's got some experience with some business sense to say, hey, we're taking these donations in financially and we're doing the right things with them. Mm-hmm. Not just some, I'll volunteer with your money this week. If you were donating or if you were investing, you wouldn't give it to somebody who just started. You'd want to give it to somebody who's been doing this for years.
Right.
The same thing with your donation. You want somebody that's running the organization or people running the organization that have some skill to be able to do the right thing with that money.
Right.
When you donate $1 to Trusted World, 91 cents goes to our programs.
It's incredible.
9 cents goes towards our administration costs.
What's the industry standard for that?
28 cents.
28 cents is the industry standard for. So you want to talk about efficiencies, right?
We're at 9 cents.
28 cents is the industry standard for overhead, and Trusted World uses 9 cents per dollar. So if you really want to make your dollar go further, this is one opportunity to do that. Now you've got dollars, you've got time, you also have stuff.
Yeah,
right?
in-kind gifts, clothing,
in-kind gifts,
food,
clothing,
and
that kind of
toiletries.
stuff. So Russ Keith says, I just replaced all my jeans. Where do I put my old ones that have a few miles left on them?
Oh, well, you can go to our website, trustedworld.org. There's a donation location. You can look for a local bin. If you want to do a donation drive in your area and you get like 5 or 6 or 7 trash bags of clothing, if you email pickup@trustedworld.org, we'll send someone out to come pick it up. We prefer you don't ask us to come out for one bag. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of drop-off locations, like I know Allen Police Department, Garland Police Department, Murphy Police Department. You know, we've working with the police. They said, hey, we're going to give back. We're going to make drop-off locations. We have them all listed on our website.
Right. Yeah. So trustedworld.org. You can check that out there. Thank you. That's a very commendable thing to want to do because it takes everything. It takes people. It takes time. It takes money. It takes stuff. Right, to make this happen.
Yeah, and a lot of people ask us, hey, listen, I guess you only want the new or gently worn stuff. No, we want all the clothing. We found a way to take the clothing that doesn't meet our quality standard, and we found a way to recycle that. And that recycled money, we turn around to buy new underwear and socks or whatever piece of clothing that's missing from our entourage. Mm-hmm. So like if we always run low on men's 34 jeans, hint. that if we run low on them, we have to turn around, we have to buy these because the orders are still coming in and we don't want to tell our clients no, so we use the recycling money. So we've made it self-replicating or self-sustaining just within the clothing of using the recycling money to buy what we need.
That's so awesome, finding those different niches where, you know me, I'm all about a niche, right? That's why I like Subject 2, that's why I like owner financing, is we find that niche that we can attack that nobody else is doing and get good at it and really help the world out, right? And that's exactly what's going on here. So we focused a lot about what we've done in Texas, right? What we're doing locally here, both in North Texas, in Houston, what we've done to help on that side of things. But it's important to note that North Texas and Texas is not the only place that needs help. So what we'll do is we're going to take a break here in just a second, and when we get back, we're going to be able to talk a little bit more about some of our national and international impact that Trusted World also has. So let's take a real quick break, and we'll come back and talk about some of that. All right, so welcome back. Hey, if you're liking what you're seeing here, don't forget to subscribe on YouTube, to turn on notifications on Facebook. If you're listening to the podcast, definitely subscribe there. You know, Propelio, creativecashflow.com, this is a partnership that we work together because we share a vision of putting positivity and putting reality in front of you guys, right? The reality of this world is that we have the ability to help. Even though we don't necessarily want to admit that sometimes, the reality is we have that ability. The reality is we have the ability to add positivity back into this world, and that is our responsibility. Nobody's going to make that decision for us. Nobody's going to do that for us. It's really easy to watch something like this and sit back and say, that's really cool what those guys are doing. I'd love to. But what I really want to reiterate is find a way to plug yourself in. Trusted World is one of many options, right? You will probably have a passion that fits somewhere, somehow. We would love to have your help, whether that's in stuff, in money, or in time. But there are some other great opportunities that we've mentioned here. Sally Riddle mentioned another one. Another amazing organization that makes cool wheelchair for kids is called Early Wheels. You can look them up as well. But as I talked about a moment ago, Trusted World is not just a local charity, right? We're not just a local nonprofit. Sure, we are providing things for free to those who are in need. We are helping people help people. And just as a real quick, you know, can you name off some of the bigger organizations that we are supporting that people not like? I know we've done a lot of support for the American Red Cross, providing the stuff for them. Who are some other people? If
your house burns down and Red Cross shows up and says, "Hey, do you need clothing? Hey, what are your sizes?" They're ordering it from us. We're supporting the Bridge, Mosaic Family Services, Austin Street Shelter, Community Food Bank in Fort Worth, Family Promise. There's a lot of organizations we're supporting. We support most of the schools in Collin County, working our way down into Dallas County.
There's and then also the police department and fire departments.
A lot of police departments. There's 160 agencies right now, and it's growing, that we service. So surely there's enough organizations out there that your viewers are probably helping. We're probably already helping them.
That's awesome.
And if not, we probably will be soon.
So let's step over real quick and talk about, oh dang it, I don't have my normal backpack with me, or I might have it in there. Let's talk about some of the cool stuff that we're able to do internationally. We've got a really cool water filtering thing for those who need clean water, and I usually have it in my backpack, but it's not in that one. But let's talk a little bit about the international impact that Trusted World has had. Can you fill us in a little bit about that?
Sure. What happens a lot of times is people they say, listen, we have the money to send a container to another country. I have this passion for this place. For instance, we had a gentleman who's been sending containers on a regular basis to Cuba. He comes to us and goes, I can pay for the container, but I can't seem to get these items. And what we do is we fill the container for them. It's either food, clothing, medical items. We recently just sent 15 pallets of medical scrubs around the world to Doctors Without Borders in Cuba, Haiti, Ghana, Yemen, Nigeria, and Iraq. We have a lot of organizations, Kids Against Hunger, Feed My Starving Children. They do food packs. Occasionally their warehouses are booming, and they'll say to us, hey, listen, we have an additional 300,000 meals. Can you take them? And what we do, we're a member of the State Department, we ask them, where's your nearest Air Force base? What we do is we send a government inspector out, they look at the meals, It goes to the Air Force Base. The U.S. Air Force flies it to Iraq at no cost to us. And we're turning around and we're feeding the refugees that are fleeing ISIS in northern Iraq. We're feeding the refugees that are fleeing whatever situation they're into in Yemen, which is, I think Yemen's getting smaller because of it. But we're supporting a lot of organizations, both in food, clothing, and medical supplies all around the world.
And one of the coolest opportunities that you may have, some of you that are watching run like REI groups, whether that's a Facebook group or whether that's an in-person meetup or whatever that might be. One of the really cool opportunities that you can have to give back is a food packing event, right? We've run some food packing events for some pretty large organizations like
Thomson Reuters.
Yeah, Thomson Reuters was one of the last really cool ones.
They turned it into a team building event, and what we do is they provided us with a $5,000 donation. We buy all the resources, we bring all the tables, and we packed food. And what it is, it's rice, soy, dried vegetables, and beans, and they put it into the bag. We seal it, and we pack 20,000 meals.
And how long did that take to pack 20,000 meals?
With this team that we had, it took them 45 minutes.
How cool is that?
What it was is they turned it into a competition. They had 10 tables, so they had 10 executives sitting at each of the tables, and all the employees bid to rub elbows with some executive to sit at that table while they're packing, and whoever packed the most meals during that time frame got the kudos or the bragging rights. And I never saw 20,000 meals get packed so quickly.
So that could be a really cool opportunity for you guys. If you run a group of some sort, whether it's like I said, an in-person meetup or a digital meetup of some sort, maybe if you wanted to have a competition between the meetups and see who can pack the most, that kind of thing. This is a really fun and excellent way to work together with people as a team, to build that community together with other real estate investors who are about positivity, who are about bringing things to light that they can do to help. That could be a really cool opportunity. It's $5,000 to pack 20,000 meals.
Yeah, and that's the smallest we can do. Anything above that's fine. It's 25 cents a meal.
Yeah.
So 20,000 meals, $5,000. But we also give you the opportunity, the food that you pack, you have a choice to either send it internationally, have it used for disaster relief, or it can be used locally right here, and it's going to end up in some kid's school bag.
Right. Another shout out to the DFW REI meetup that Propelio puts on. The next one's going to be on November 13th. They're going to be supporting Toys for Tots. As we come up on the holidays, that's a good drop-off location to bring stuff in to support Toys for Tots. So that would be another opportunity for you guys to give back.
That's another organization that we work with.
So we work with Toys for Tots as well.
We provide them with drinks and snacks for their volunteers and everything.
Yeah, that's excellent. So as I read my teleprompter, I will read verbatim and say, "Bring yo damn toys to the." to the DFW REI meetup, November 13th. So again, some really cool opportunities that we have in front of us, right? We've talked about kind of what brought us here, right? We saw some inefficiencies in what the other nonprofits were doing. You saw a unique opportunity to use a niche skill that you had to give back to that community and to help those people help other people, right? So created that 4 years ago. Since then, we've seen leaps and bounds. I mean, can you imagine within 4 years getting to a point where you were able to make the impact that you are? To make the impact that you are, and I'm like subtly telling, like, stop looking at me, look at. In 4 years to make this impact where we've gone from not helping anybody in this realm, seeing what the opportunities were, where they needed help, and then getting to a position where we are helping internationally, where we are helping with disaster relief. We did hurricane relief last year. We've got more hurricane relief going on right now that you can actually donate to directly from the website. And what we'll do is we'll put a link in the description of this video, as well as maybe in the comments, where you can donate if you wanted to donate some of your cash to go towards helping that. What's happening with the hurricane relief currently?
We're sending trucks to South Carolina and Florida with a lot of resources, food and everything like that. And I had noticed that Elizabeth was asking, what are we doing in Venezuela? Elizabeth, what we need to do is we need to partner with an agency that's grounded there. We just can't show up. Our whole thing about helping people help people and staying efficient and staying in our lane is to find the organizations that are there that have a good footprint there and are able to get things in through the import and export stuff. It's not as easy as everybody seems it is, because there's governmental laws, transportation laws, everything like that. But if you know of some organizations that are there in Venezuela that we can actually partner with, we're more than happy to work with them. Email us at info@trustedworld.org. We'll see if we can't set something up.
That's another great way to help. So tell us a little bit about what's going on with hurricane relief right now, because we do have a national audience here. We've got people across.
we have trucks getting ready to go to Florida and South Carolina. We've already sent 35,000 articles of clothing to South Carolina. We've got 2 trucks lined up that's just packed full of food. We're talking drinks, Gatorade, snacks, wholesome food, breakfast cereals, breakfast bars. We have all the stuff getting ready to go there. We don't have a lack of finding the resources. We don't have a lack of finding the places to send it. What we're lacking is the cost to pay truckers to get it there. A lot of people are like, man, I can't drive one way, and they have to have something coming back, so it costs us more. It costs like $2,500 a truckload to send stuff there. Well, there's only so many trucks you can send without us doing a bank account to the point where we go out of business. You know, we need support that way. We need help with some of the trucking.
Absolutely. Russ, to answer your question, we do accept food also. Those donations are very much appreciated.
Food. Please, no bananas.
Yeah. And a lot of times those foods go to, like, I've seen a lot of deliveries go to like halfway houses and battered women shelters and that kind of stuff that really help those guys who are in a situation where they've got to get through a difficult time.
We have a lot of transition homes, guys who come out of prison, they want to change their lives, they go to a transition home, and that transition home will say, hey man, Bob's here, and they'll place an order. And we provide clothing for Bob, and they'll say, hey, we now add that to our food. We'll turn around, we supply food to them. We make sure that whatever is donated to us goes somewhere.
Right.
Nothing sits. We don't call it a warehouse, we call it a distribution center, because if there's dust on a box, it's not from us. It was donated that way.
Yeah.
Nothing sits for more than a couple of weeks, because we don't want to be one of those organizations that go, well, how long you been holding on to that?
Right.
Not long.
Right.
There's plenty of need out there, and there's not enough resources.
And I love that Elizabeth has already volunteered. She says, gotcha, partner with an agency there. I can work on that. Elizabeth, thank you.
That's awesome.
Thank you for taking that initiative and seeing how you have the ability to make a huge impact. You know, every one of you watching has the ability to make that impact on somebody's life today.
Yes, you know, what's happening is Elizabeth's now helping us help people. And that's the beautiful thing about this, is collaboratively we have a bigger impact on society than if we try to do this by ourselves.
Right.
We've created the vehicle for people to help people help people. That's what we're doing. And people like Elizabeth and other people coming along and working with us just makes that impact bigger and bigger and bigger.
Well, and that was one of the cool, and here's another thing, just to bring it back to our real estate investing world, right? Last year when Harvey hit, because of the real estate investing, because of the platform that was set up for me and my family through Subject 2, through the methods that we're teaching and all these other Grant Teach Me Somethings, I was able to take off from work for about 4 or 5 months to pour in and help with some of this stuff here. So I did get to go to that warehouse. I did spend the days up at the warehouse seeing what was going on there and helping volunteers. And one of the consistent...
And driving the golf cart.
And driving the golf cart. Yeah, he was like, where's the dang golf cart? Like, oh, dang it, Grant has it again.
Yeah.
But one of the consistent things that I heard from our volunteers was that there were so many barriers to entry for them to volunteer at some of these other organizations, and they loved that, you know, if you're going to volunteer with Trusted World, we want your help. We don't want to get in the way of that. We want you to be able to do something.
And to give the other organizations a good kudos, when you're working with agencies that have people that are involved, that they're helping, they want to make sure there's a background check done. There are a lot of hoops you have to go through because you're going to be in front of a client. When you're working with us, you're in front of clothing, canned food, they don't care.
Right.
Articles of clothing don't care what your background is. They just want to be sorted. You know, cans just want to be sorted. That's all they care about, and we recognize that.
Right. And so that's really cool. And, you know, it looks like I've got a replacement for me next time something like this rolls around, because Sydney is a professional golf cart driver, so she's just throwing that out there. Maybe next time we can get a little bit.
We had that one guy strapped to the back of the golf cart. Remember that, the Kemp guy?
I actually almost threw. Oh dang it! I can't remember her name. She was wonderful. The CBS, I think it was CBS 11 news reporter. I was showing her around on the golf cart, and I took a turn too late, threw her off, and I'm like, I hope that doesn't make the cut.
Her phone took a dive.
Yeah,
I remember that. That was good.
So yeah, Elizabeth, thank you for taking that initiative. Thank you for seeing that this was an opportunity that you could help with, and everybody else, be looking for opportunities to help, because we do have that. Now here's another opportunity that you have. $25 a month, $50 a month makes a massive impact.
Oh, Grant, yes. Everyone knows that we provide resources at no cost and we provide all this wonderful stuff. But what they don't realize is that we have 7 vehicles, and it's insurance and fuel. And we have a 20,000 square foot distribution center. We have 2 service centers. There's insurance, there's rent, there's lease, there's utilities. Now, you have to have a minimal amount of employees, because if the volunteers don't show up, or you get a phone call from your volunteers saying that your cat's sick, the bags still have to be filled. The clothing still has to be sorted. So we've got to the point where each location has at least 2 employees. That takes funding, and it's, you're right, $25 a month, $100 a month, whatever it may be. That's the kind of stuff when we can look forward and we can see, oh, we have this coming in on a regular basis. Don't get me wrong, the one-time gifts are great, but knowing we have that reoccurring income coming in, and no different if you're stacking your portfolio.
It's cash flow versus it's today money versus tomorrow money, right?
If I know that it's coming in, then I know that, I can hire somebody, or I can lease an additional truck. It helps us take that sigh of relief and not like, so what are we doing next month?
Right, and this is one way that you can help people, right? Michael has taken it upon himself to dedicate his entire life, 80 hours a week, 75 hours a week, to do this. Guys, frankly, I would love to see a situation where we can, as a board, tell Michael, stop working so hard, go home at 5. But right now, we don't have that ability to make that decision for him.
I'm chief cook and bottle washer, and sometimes I'm truck driver, and if there's
and with a smile on your face the whole time.
If there's a delivery that has to be done on Saturday, it's me, because we can't afford to pay people overtime.
Right.
It comes down to that kind of stuff.
So if you want to put $25 at closing, if you want to put $200 at closing, $250 at closing, in the grand scheme of things, that makes very little difference to our bottom line. We're dealing with big numbers, but $250 to an organization that's dealing with all of these big organizations and all of the efforts that it takes to do that, it makes a massive, massive difference. So we're going to be going to another break here shortly. I've talked about kind of where we came from, right? Where we started, the inefficiencies that we saw, the wonderful ability that you've had to make an impact on the world, both nationally, internationally, and locally. We've talked about some of the bigger things that we've been able to do. When we get back, I want to talk about what the future holds, what some of the opportunities that Trusted World has sitting in front of us, and how you, as person watching this video right now, can pitch in to be a huge help on that with resources that you already have. So let's take a break and we'll be right back. All right, welcome back. So, as I talked about a minute ago, we've seen a huge impact in a very short amount of time, and that impact is felt just such. I mean, if you could see the faces on the people that are being helped by this, if you could see the impact that's being made on a life off of $25, $50, whatever that might be, the majority of our donors. I mean, what's the average donation from the recurring gifts that happen? Do you know what our average donation is on a recurring?
The average is $50.
Okay, so the average is $50 a month. How many people has that served?
Oh my goodness! In the 4 years that we've been in existence, we've either fed, clothed, or assisted over 6 million people globally.
6 million people.
Yeah, we have a wide reach, but again, it comes down to the efficiency of things.
Right.
Because we don't have to worry about being like a lot of organizations. They go overseas and they open an office there and they do stuff with that. We don't have to worry about that. We're supporting them. We're getting the resources for them. So we don't have case managers. Okay, most organizations, when they start up, they go, hey, we're going to be this organization, we're going to meet with the people. You have to have a case manager to make sure that the people aren't ripping you off and they're not lying to you. Because we don't have any case managers, because what we're doing is we're servicing thousands of case managers in this area, that makes us more effective. We can move a whole lot more resources. We can touch more lives, more people with the efficiencies that we've created and the efficiencies that we've given to them, so they can focus more on their core competency and not worrying about, where do I find a toothbrush, or where's that medium shirt? Oh, I thought I had one. I don't have one anymore. I mean, how disappointing can that be to a client if you go, I think I don't have one, sorry. It used to be there, I don't know where it
Well,
went.
and how much time are they having to spend looking through their room to try and find that toothbrush too, right? And
Exactly.
Time capital is just as much as capital.
Exactly.
Ryan says, is there a way to see if people are donating? Because we could stay on air all day.
Oh man, I like him.
Had we thought about it beforehand, we could have probably set something up, but we don't have anything right now. But let's use our Boy Scouts honor. I'm like peace. Boy Scouts honor on this, and let's try and shoot for something. Now here's and we can put updates out, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So we would love to update you on what's being raised. That being said, that's a great segue into where we're going in the future, right? One of the things, the timeliness of why I wanted to bring Michael on today is we've got some really cool opportunities in front of Trusted World right now. Some very, very neat things are going on that we're seeing hands move and ideas occur, and bigger organizations need this help, and it's growing. Tell us about these opportunities that we've got right now. What is coming right now on the pipeline?
Okay, so within the last 3 weeks, this just happened. We were working with some organizations that were moving truckloads of stuff, and we got together with them and I said, hey, do you ever find anyone that just needs 2 or 3 pallets, not 26? And the guy goes, yeah, I know some people, but I can't afford to have the truck make multiple stops. It can either go from point A to point B. So I'm like, well, bring that truck to us and then tell those people to come us, and we'll do the 1 or 2 pallets that way. Grant, over a couple of weeks, what we created was this Trusted World Network, and we now have it set up where large corporations like Pepsi and Barcel make one phone call to us, and we take all their donations and we broker it out to all the nonprofits that are there. They used to spend 50, 60 phone calls a week to try to find 5 organizations that would take the donations. And the donations could be overrun, spoilage, whatever it means. It still hasn't expired yet. And now they make one phone call. They're like, this is the greatest thing since sliced bread for them. And what it's doing for us is now we're able to take care of the larger food banks. And we're not just sending a bag of clothing or a box of food to someone. We're sending pallets of food. And now we're supporting Waco Food Bank. We're supporting food banks in Fort Worth. We're supporting food banks here in the Dallas area. We're moving massive amounts of resources. The bridge, Austin Street, are now getting pallets of drink and pallets of snacks from us. It enabled us to have more impact on both scales. It's still helping people help people, but instead of a bag, it's a pallet.
And so one of the challenges that will be very near and dear to the heart of us real estate investors is that when you're doing something like this takes space. That's one of the prohibitive factors to a lot of the organizations that are trying to get things done, is they just don't have the space, right? We've been blessed with a great warehouse. How big is our warehouse right now? 20,000?
20,000 square feet. It's a 40,000 square foot building, and right now the next door tenant is leaving, and the landlord came to us and says, do you want it? We literally have like 2 weeks to say yes or no on this, and it's an additional $100,000 cost to us, or $9,000 a month, because we want to make sure we're including utilities and everything like that. But so $9,000 a month, $100,000. If we knew that was coming, if we knew it was something, we could tell him yes, and then he wouldn't have to go out and look, because in 2 weeks he has to find a tenant. I mean, you all know how that is.
Yeah. If anybody knows what that's like, to need to find a tenant.
You guys want to make sure that you're getting paid, so because that's his investment. You know, is having this space. But the beautiful part about it is he's lowered the rate for us. It's stupid. We're paying like $8 or $9 a square foot less than everybody else on the street, because that's his way of giving to us. He still has to pay his bills. He has other investments that are helping him, but he just sees the value in what we're doing. We need that space.
Well, and that's been one of the cool things that, if anything, is to let us know that we're going down the right direction, is that when we tell somebody the story of Trusted World, and they are able to see the impact that Trusted World has made on the world, internationally, nationally, and locally, I think that story speaks for itself. And I think Russ Keefe puts it perfectly, right? I mean, it fits perfectly, and the show sure tugs on my heartstrings, right? Getting to understand the real impact that small efforts can make from a large group of people is insane. Again,
we're supplying the vehicle. You walk through our facility and you see barcodes on donation bins. I mean, we've got organization down to, I always tell people I'm not OCD, I'm CDO. That's the alphabetical order of OCD. That's the level of OCD I have in operations. And I've been doing it all of my life. But you walk through and people literally say to us, and it's not always in these exact words, but They always say to us, this is what's missing in our society. It's the organization of helping people help people, whereas we don't sell anything. We'll never charge any of our clients for any of our services.
I think that's really important to keep
ever.
in mind.
I will shut the organization down if I ever have to charge anybody, because I don't think that's right. You know, there's a lot of organizations. We saw nothing but a lot of nonprofits that your viewers are sending to us. They're all great organizations, but they need help too. We're that organization. We're the ones that are pumping them with resources and people. And I get a lot of times, I'll get organizations say, hey, can we tap into your corporate experience? I got a couple of questions. How do we organize? How do we do this? We're there to help them. We want them all to grow as a society, but sometimes it takes we'll do the Lord of the Rings. It takes that one ring to get the other rings to work well.
Yeah.
We're that one ring.
Right. Pat Hilton, thank you so much. Pat Hilton says, hey, I'm down to make a song for raising money for a good cause. That's what it's all about. Pat, I love that. Thank you so much for volunteering that out there, because we'll take it, man. We need every resource that somebody is willing to give to, again, help us bring this community up as a whole. I think one of the pushes that we've been trying to push as part of our vision from the beginning with the Propelio Academy is and creativecashflow.com together, how can we bring this community up as a whole? Every one of us has the ability to bring the community up as a whole, and this is one more opportunity for us to work together for that community. So again, right now, we have an opportunity. How much, if you had to say, and again, I'm not prepping any of these questions for you, so forgive me for putting you on the spot, but if you had to say a number, we've helped what you said, 6 million people up to this point in 4 years. What would be the impact, the end impact of having something like this extra space so that we can serve these PepsiCos and the Bimbo Breads and all these guys to do the network as we've talked about?
Every year since we've started, we've doubled the amount of clients that we serve. Okay, we're now servicing 160 agencies, okay? And a school is an agency to us. We're still on trend to double. We could probably triple if we could get this space. We're talking about getting close to 500 clients by the end of 2019 if we could get this space and start serving people. And that's not even counting the fact that if we're helping an agency and they're helping 150 people.
Right, we're not even counting
there's an exponential factor in here that we can't even fathom yet.
Right.
All we know is we just know we're helping that agency, and that agency's turning around and they're helping all these people. We're that group.
Right.
We're the ones that are going, what are you low on? We got that.
Right.
You focus on what you're doing, let me take the time to go find this. And we're building those relationships. That's why we got Pepsi and everyone to make one phone call to us. We've built that relationship because that's what we do. That's my corporate experience coming in. That's my passion, is getting all that together so people can say, I need this. I go, I got it.
Right.
And if I don't, give me a minute. We'll figure out where it's at.
So the bottom line here is that to be able to make that huge impact on the world, to double, triple, quadruple what the impact is, frankly, as a warehousing organization, we need that space. We need extra space to make that happen.
So Ryan's asking, bottom line, what do you need? Ryan, right now we need $125,000 to be able to get into that space next door. But we also need operating capital to keep us going year to year to year. We currently have a distribution center and 2 service centers in the Dallas area. Our ultimate goal is to open 5 service centers in the Dallas Metroplex with that distribution center, and we call that a hub. And our goal is to put a hub in every major city in the United States. We want to change the way nonprofits work, and we're doing it. We've beta tested it with 1 facility, now we're into 2. We're already looking at our 3rd location, but a location costs us at least $150,000 a year to operate.
So, bottom line, again, because a confused mind says no, the bottom line is that to make the biggest impact right now, the time-sensitive impact, the reason why we're doing this today, is that within this next couple of weeks, we need to tell our landlord if we're able to take over on that extra space.
Yep.
And that extra space is $125,000 for 1 year or $9,000 a month, which is a massively discounted rate because the landlord buys into what's happening.
He does.
That's going to get an extra how many square feet?
An additional 20,000 square feet.
That gets an additional 20,000 square feet and is going to likely be the stepping point that gets this organization to be able to help not just 6 million, but 6 million a year, right? That's what we want to do here. Now, that's a big number, and I get that. But that's the power of community. The power of community is helping people reach their goals. That's what the Propelio Academy has been doing. That's what creativecashflow.com is doing. We are trying to help you reach your goals, right? And part of that is that we all accept the responsibility that we have the ability to help somebody else reach their goals and to get to a better place in life. And this is that opportunity that we're able to do that. So go to trustedworld.org/donate, and you will be able to see a way to donate either recurring payments or a one-time payment. Hey, it's the end of the year, guys. If you're sitting on some cash, the tax man's going to take it. And those donations can be a huge write-off for you and be a massive help for an organization like this that's going on.
Yeah,
I also
think
want to
we're the
encourage
better
you
option than the IRS for that money.
Right, yeah. I also want to encourage you at the bottom of the webpage, at the bottom of trustedworld.org, you can see all the financials. You can see exactly where it's still at the bottom. Am I saying it right?
There's a link that takes you to GuideStar, and we are actually a platinum member with GuideStar, and there's a link for excellence in giving that actually shows you our bottom line finances.
Right.
It shows you the 9 cents.
Shows you exactly where everything is going so that you can tell that we are a 9% override. We are completely transparent. Part of, remember, our vision is the reality and positivity. Well, here's the reality. You want to go look at where the money's going? Go look at our finances. But this is something that I feel passionate about, that Michael feels passionate about, that if you can share in any of that passion, any amount that you're able to give is going to be a huge impact on somebody's life. Don't think of it as, hey, I'm going to give this organization some money. Think of it as, hey, if I'm able to afford $1,000 right now, or if I'm able to afford $100,000 right now, this is going to impact millions of mouths and help them survive and thrive.
Yeah, 240 people donating $500. We got that building.
Right. So guys, I just thank you so much. Thank you for being involved. Thank you for commenting. Continue to comment on things that are impactful to you. Elizabeth, I see the idea of doing a drive. I think that's an excellent idea. We can work into doing something like that. If you guys can take this away and talk to your circle of influence and see if you can get some people in with you to go out there and help. Please do that. Everybody here has a circle of influence that's able to impact the world. Logan brings up Father's Hand Foundation. It's an international one that they donate to, and know the family that started if we're looking to extend more internationally. So we'll start a conversation there to Neil and see what we're able to do there. But please keep this conversation going. Keep the responsibility on your back to understand that you have the ability to change somebody's life in one way or another, through time, through stuff, or through money.